welcome back. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create an altered necklace. So this is two different pieces that I purchased at Hobby Lobby and put together. And you're going to need some tools and supplies, so let's go over those first. So tools, you're going to need 2 pairs of pliers, and you're going to be opening and closing these little circles. You're also going to need your round nose pliers. Now I have switched for this project. I normally use these round nose pliers, the 3-in-1 with a I normally use these pliers, but for this project I've switched over to these, and these are by Beadsmith, and they're not great for several different reasons, but I needed to make really tiny loops, and they worked a lot better to make the tinier loops that I wanted for these little beaded links here. So if you have a small pair, that's great. If you don't, then you'll just be working right at the tip of your round nose pliers. You're also going to need some flush cutters, and these are some really cheap flush cutters that I got at Harbor Freight. They were like $3.99, and I had a 20% off coupon. So because all I'm really doing is I'm going to cut the head off and then trim the wire. These are a little bit better, and then I can save my good expensive pair for doing other finer jewelry kind of tasks. You're also going to need some kind of measuring device. If you don't want to use the one like mine, then you can just use a ruler, and I'll talk about that more in just a second. Then for supplies, you're going to need something for your center, and you're going to need some kind of chain. And like I said, I bought these at Hobby Lobby. You're also going to need some beads and some eye pins, and I like to make my own eye pins, so I'll show you that in a minute here. So the first thing you have to do is get some pieces that you're going to alter. And I usually wait until these things are on half price at Hobby Lobby, and I go and I just find something that I like. So I hadn't seen this before. This Traditions was on sale, so I just went to Hobby Lobby and picked out this piece, and this is dyed jasper in the center, and it had this little silver bail on it, and I did not like the silver bail because it does not match my chain that I chose. And the chain is a faux turquoise rosary chain, and it's 30 inches total length. So I came home, I took everything out of the packages, and when I looked at it, this chain was just not long enough for me. So I decided I wanted to lengthen the chain, and I also did not like that silver bail. So those are the two things that I'm altering. So I altered the bail, and then I also am adding some beads to get some length on this rosary chain that I purchased. Okay, so I got out my supplies when I got home, and I decided that I would use these little beads. These are a little crystal. They kind of, to me, they seem like they're copper, and they shine. There, it's kind of catching the light there. So I decided I wanted to use those, and I also had these little tiny cube beads, and that's in the corner of my finger. There we go. I liked those as well, and I haven't added any of those to the chain yet. So the first thing I did was I cut the head off of my head pins, and I will show you now how I did that. I'm going to move that chain so I have some room to work. So pretty simple. You just go to the head of the pin, and I just slide my flush cutters down to where that head meets, and then I hold that into my bead mat and I clip it, and it will kind of jump around a little bit. So then you have just a stick of metal, and I usually will do these about 10 at a time. So I go through and I cut those off. The other thing I like to do is get my pins all laying in the same direction so that I have fewer things to do while I'm working. And I'm actually going to flip those in this tray. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pick those up and clip them. I've tried doing more than one at a time and they don't really work. Okay, so I just clip a bunch of those off. Those can be kind of pokey little things, so I try to make sure that I get them up off my bead mat so I don't scratch myself or anything else. Alright, once I've got a good stack of those made, then I get my round nose pliers out. Move these. And I just start making my loop. And it's the same procedure that I'm pretty sure I've showed you many times. So you just put that in your pliers. I use my thumb and I put some pressure on the wire and roll that around. Okay, and I look at it, see how I did. Pretty good. And I come behind and I kind of pop that to give it that little crook, and I'll close that back up, and I have a hang nail. And then I will, let's see, what do I need to make? I think I need to make more of these. Okay, and so then I put that on, I put the bead on, and I kind of just set it aside. And I get my next one. I roll that around, come behind, I pop it, make sure it's closed tight. I get my bead, I put it on. Actually, turn those the other way. All right, let me move those packages. All right. I'll do one more just for good measure. And I'm just eyeballing these. I don't have a mark on these pliers. I may decide that I want to have a mark so that I can make sure that they are all the same size. All right. So then when I get several of those made, then I get my measuring device and I will clip them all. Okay, so I'm putting that on, oh, you can't see that very good. Let's move that necklace. Okay, so I put it on my measuring device and I come in and I typically put one finger on top and then kind of hold it around the sides. And there's not a lot of room on these. So then I come in. Oh, I didn't get it. Ah. Okay. Now I've made a mark. So I'm going to come back in. I can see where that mark is. Okay. And clip it. All right. Part of my problem is I'm trying to reach a lot farther than I would normally reach, because I'm making a video. All right, let's try that again. There we go. And I've got to fix this. Mine's not working right. There we go. Okay, so then I save these little scraps, and I'll show you what I do with those in a minute. All right, now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to roll this other end. And when you're doing these, you want, as much as possible, to try and make your circles go one way, and then the other end, you want it to go the other way, okay? And let's see if I've got one that I did that on, yeah. And don't make yourself crazy over it. But if you can do it like that, these pliers are magnetized, okay? Then I don't know, I just like how it looks that way. So if you don't care, then don't worry about it. I know some people like to do it so that, we'll see if that worked, yeah. So that one is up, I'll show you this here. Here we go. So that the one is kind of down and one is kind of up. I don't know if that shows on the camera right, but I don't know if you can see that. I'll have to watch it and see. Supposedly this helps with keeping it so that your chain doesn't tangle. I haven't noticed any difference, so I don't think it's worth the effort, but it's up to you. You're the designer. All right, so roll these. So I just try to do one going forward and one going backwards. So this one I'm going to roll backwards. So I'm going to roll it this way. And then I'm going to check it and I'm going to pop it. Oh, that was too much pop. And then I'm going to close it. I got a lot of play in that. Gosh. Okay, let me see if you can see that. Okay, so I have a lot of end on there, and it just happens sometimes. So what I have found is sometimes I can start my loop a little bit further down so that my loop is larger and it will take up more of that wire. Okay, and then pop it there. I think that looks better. Oh, these pliers. Okay, so I got one going one way and the other one going the other direction. Okay, so that's all there is to it. So you're going to just make a whole bunch of these. So here's my little squares, and here's my round ones. I'll move those. There's another square one, round ones, and another round one. Okay, so now we're ready to start adding those to our necklace. So let's get this necklace back in here. All right, and what you're going to do is you're going to open up these eyes, these loops, and we're going to insert one of our new beads, and then we're going to close it back up, and it will, the chain will grow in length as each time we do that. So the pattern I was going to do is 2 turquoise and then around 2 turquoise and a square. So I'm going to go up 2 beaded links, okay, then I'm going to come here and I'm going to open this up. Okay, I'm just going to twist that open. You see that? I twisted that open. Okay, then I'm going to take that one off. Now I'm going to add one of my squares. And I'm going to twist that back down. Okay. That's not cool. All right, I'm having trouble. It's this jump ring. So I had to make this jump ring, and I'm struggling with that. So that'll be another video. All right, where's my chain? All right. All right, so on this side now, I've got 2 turquoise around. I want 2 turquoise. I'm going to open here. I got to find the side that opens. Okay, I'm going to twist that open. I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to see. I'm going to twist this open. I'm going to put on my square. I'm going to twist it closed. Come on. Sorry, my fingers are getting in the way. This is tiny work here. There we go. Okay. So here's my piece. It's going to go in the middle, and then it's going to come up. Okay. Let's keep those together. All right. Then we're going to have or put this back on. So this is, I left this one open, so I'm going to twist that back on. And now I'm going to twist that closed. And I didn't open this one. Let's open this one. And we'll slide that on. Whoops. And twist it closed. Okay. So we're just going to open and close, going along. So now we're going to go 2 more turquoise. We're going to open and twist that open. Okay, and move that out. 2 turquoise. And twist that open. And this time we're going to do the round one. I'm going to twist that open, put that on, twist it closed, get another one, twist it open, slide it on, twist it closed, slide that on, twist it closed, slide that on, twist it closed. All right, so stick this back on. So I'm going to have to get a better fix for my jump ring. And I will. Oh, see, that won't even, it won't stay closed. That's the problem. Oh, slide that back in. All right. It's going to come off again. All right, I'm going to put that towards the middle. There we go. Okay. So there's how the chain is starting to look. So let me take my glasses off and look at that. Oh yeah, I like that. All right, so it's just going to give it a little more of the same mix that you have in the necklace, or in the focal bead here. Okay, so I'm liking that. So I'm going to keep going. It's going to get quite a bit longer. Let me see. I want to measure how long just the chain is now. Almost 16 inches, and it was 15, so we've added an inch. So as you can see, it's not going to dramatically change it, but I think it will change the look of the necklace more so than anything else. All right, I have continued to add these beaded links up this chain, and I am now ready. I need to make some more beaded links, and I was going to show you how I'm using these little leftover scraps. So I trim, let's see, the head pin, right? I removed the head and then I made my links, and I had quite a fairly large piece of wire left. So I rolled the end already, and then I put my bead on. My goodness. All right. And I did make a new measuring device for myself. The other one, the little cloth covering was too far down. I just was having the wire fly out. So I kind of redesigned it, and I put a piece of Scotch tape on there as well, because these wires are really tiny, and that just makes it so that when that pops off, it kind of jumps up into the tape, and then it will fall down, so that I don't end up with wire all over my craft room. All right, so I've got my bead on, so I'm going to stick this onto my little block here, and I'm going to get my wire snipper, or sorry, what are these things called? Flush cutters, goodness gracious. All right, so I've got my flush cutters, and I'm going to come in, and I'm going in between my mark there, and there's that little scrap. Okay, and it kind of, I think you can see that, kind of jumps up into the tape, which is fine. I just don't want it flying around the room. So now I just proceed as I have before, and so this one is going to roll back and roll it back and pop it. How do we do? Pretty good. The other thing I did when I started making these is I did go ahead and put a black mark on my pliers where I wanted to roll those loops, so that they're a little more uniform. All right, so now I'm ready to add this back on. Not back on, originally it was never on. All right, and I have a hard time using the rolled ones. So I'm getting my bent nose pliers, and I'm going to open that. I'm going to put this link on and close it up. All right, and you can see I've got those lined up, and I've got more to work on. So the other thing that I did is I redid this jump ring again, and I just wanted to show you guys how I made my own jump ring, because that's going to have to be a lot larger, and I only need one. I don't want to go buy a whole package of jump rings. So I have these pliers. These are called, oh gosh, what are these called? Bail making pliers. That's what they're called. I knew it. And I use them to make my own jump rings from time to time. And let's see. So that's the one I made. So let me show you how I made it. So you take a head pin, and just like before, I'm going to find the head Okay, and then I'm going to snip that off. And now I've got just a straight piece of wire. And I'm going to put this in my pliers and I'm going to make a loop similar to what I do with these. Now these have different measurements, so I can make different sizes of jump rings. And I think I made the 7. Yeah. So I'm going to make this 7 1/4. So I put this in just like I do. I'm going to turn it this way. Just like I do when I'm going to turn a loop. Okay. Same thing, you've got to make sure you can't feel that. Now I'm going to push down and I'm going to wrap this wire around this spot. Okay, and just like rolling a loop, I'm going to push down. Oh, now I opened it. Okay, so I'm going to put some pressure down and I'm going to roll it and I'm going to twist it and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to keep going. Okay, and I'm kind of going so that the wire grows this way up the barrel. And I can't do it all the way. You get to this end and it's painful to push on that. Okay, so then I take it off and this is what I've got. So it goes around more than once, which is fine. Oh, and I'm going to trim that now. So what I do is I stick my fingers in there. It's kind of like a keychain where you've got the 2 wires that overlap. Okay, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to snip the first wire. And now I'm going to come back in where that one ended. I'm going to come on this side. I'm going to go back in where that one ends. Nope, I lied. That is not where I want to do it. It's this end. Okay, right there. And I'm going to snip off that other piece. And now I have a jump ring. I made my own jump ring. Okay, and you can see it's just, can you see that? The wires don't quite meet. And so I'm going to wiggle that until they meet. Now if I really am picky, I can go in and make sure that I've got those, I've got a flush cut on both sides. And one side probably didn't end up flush. There we go. Okay, and then that created a little tiny gap there. And sometimes I can wiggle it with my fingers. And other times I need my pliers. This is a 7 1/4 inch jump ring, so this is kind of big. So I'm going to come in with my pliers and wiggle that. Okay. There's a little tiny bit of a gap, and I'll work on that more when I use it. Now I already have one, so I'm not gonna open this up and put it on here because I already did, but there it is. And if you want, you can kind of make it be more of a oval. You can kind of squish it a little bit with your fingers. Okay, so that's how you make your own jump ring. And how to utilize the little scraps that you cut off or trim off when you're making your beaded links. All right, I'm going to keep working on this and then I'll show you the end. Okay, and here is the finished necklace. I'm really happy with how that turned out. The sparkle from these crystal beads is really nice and really complements the the shiny, crystally, there, I think it shines better on that side, in the necklace. So super happy. I do have some chain left over, and I'm sitting here thinking I could make a bracelet maybe, or a pair of earrings, or yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some possibilities. I have a few beads left, lots of head pins left. So, you know, for $6.99 and some beads that I had in my stash, not too bad. This is a pretty long necklace. I think I measured it was 19.5 on each side. So that's going to be plenty long, and can't wait to wear that with something. I don't know. I gotta go look in my closet, see what matches. So I hope you had a good time and learned a few new things, and that's it. Bye-bye.